What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and of course welcome to part 2 of my X-Men MCU fan casting. First episode did very well. I was very glad with the feedback, very glad with the likes and the views. Everything went well with that, so I said we're going to come back for a part 2, and then honestly, just seeing still the sheer amount of X-Men, there definitely will be a part 3. I think that'll be as far as we can stretch it though. This episode, once again, we're going to do 10 characters. We're going to mix in a few heavy hitters, obviously, some of the more well-known. We're going to throw in a couple of villains, and we're just going to see where we'll land on that. We're just going to get straight on into it, guys. I think we'll start off with a bit of a tame one. Emma Frost, obviously, you've seen her just crystallize, evolve in X-Men 97, if you've been keeping up to date, obviously. I'm going to say I would put Emma Roberts as Emma Frost, not just because they're both called Emma. I think Emma Roberts has really shown over the years how terrific of an actress she is between American Horror Story, multiple films that she's done. She's shown that she's got very good comedic timing, obviously, in We're the Millers. She is a very good actress, and she has the look as well. I do think she'd be pretty good as an Emma Frost, who isn't too young, but she definitely has experience probably as a very good member of the X-Men. Because at the end of the day, as I said before in the previous video, everyone isn't going to get grabbed at their youngest age or their oldest age from one universe. I think you're going to get an array of X-Men who don't have a connection to start off with. They're going to be meeting a different version of a character they knew in their previous universe and stuff like that. You're going to see a real fish out of water story for everybody. So I think Emma Roberts will be a very good Emma Frost in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, guys. Moving on, I'm going to go for... I'm going to throw in a villain here, Sabertooth. Now, the thing with Sabertooth is I have got in here a very big DC actor. He's a DC actor who has obviously played a very big hero in the DCEU, and he's rumoured to be Lobo in the new DCU. That is why I've got him down here as a villain. I can't see any actors who are contracted to be big heroes in DC, or even a big character in DC. I can't see any of them signing up to be a big hero with lots and lots of screen time in the MCU, because just James Gunn wouldn't want people splitting their time. He'd want everybody all in on his vision. I'm going to say, obviously I've said it already with Lobo, Jason Momoa. I think he would be a fantastic Sabertooth. I could really imagine him, obviously I said in the previous episode of Taron Egerton as Wolverine, I could really picture Taron Egerton and Jason Momoa on screen together as them two. I think he's obviously, he's in the shape for it, he's physically commanding, he's got great charisma. Sabertooth is an absolute menace in the films and the comics, and honestly I think he'd be fantastic in the MCU. I really do. And as I said before, if you can't get Jason Momoa to play a hero in your MCU, which I doubt you can, then just tell him the 1-2 film deal, be Sabertooth, and just show us what you got. And then maybe you can be, if DC falls apart once again, maybe you can play a variant of a hero a couple of years down the line. Next is one actually I thought was very funny when I was searching for pictures, obviously for the slideshow here. Morph. For Morph, I'm going to go for Anthony Carrigan. Now, I know these pictures alone look like each other, not just because he's bald and all. I'm not stereotyping him into that, but he is an absolutely fantastic actor. I first seen him when he was in Gotham. He was fantastic in that show. Very limited role, I have to say, but he was fantastic in the show. He could definitely play Morph. He's funny, he's got the charisma, he's got everything you'd want from your Morph. And obviously Morph can shapeshift into any hero around. He could be a massive character in the MCU X-Men. There could be mutants you haven't even met yet. Maybe mutants from his old universe, and he could just turn into them all of a sudden for a cameo. And I don't know where cameo. He could morph into Chris Evans, Captain America, Chris Evans, Human Torch. He could morph into Robert Downey Jr. He'd be fantastic. I think he should definitely be on the original iteration of the MCU team for sure. I think he'd bring lots to it, and I think Anthony Carrigan would be a fantastic choice to play Morph on every level. Next up, we're going to go Bishop. Obviously, Bishop, like, he's just recently, his character's just left the X-Men 97, taking Cyclops' son into the future, but he is a massive, massive character. So I'm going for someone who has been a very big part of another superhero franchise recently. I'm going to go for Laz Alonso. Now, I've mentioned the other superhero series because, like, at the minute, a lot of people are only going to know Laz from The Boys. He plays Mother's Milk, and see, just from that show alone, you can tell he's funny. He's an absolute badass. He's built like a tank. Like, he has the look of Bishop already. I think he would be fantastic on that as Bishop. I really do. And obviously, because he's from the future, you don't have to have him in the show constantly, because he'd spend a lot of time filming for The Boys. So you don't have to always have him around, but he could definitely do the role of Bishop for sure. Absolutely 100%. Next up, we're going to go for Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is actually someone I mentioned in the last episode, because I said I would have another Stranger Things character as another X-Men character. So I'm going to say for Kitty Pryde, I'm going to have the role of Millie Bobby Brown. Now, a lot of people probably think Millie Bobby Brown could probably command a much, much bigger role in terms of X-Men characters, and I agree, she probably could, but I'm going to assume that Millie Bobby Brown is probably going to be so burnt out from, like, having to constantly film as the same character with Stranger Things after season 5 finishes it. I don't think she'll want to commit to multi-picture deals with the likes of Disney or Marvel. I think Kitty Pryde, she will be a big character in the MCU X-Men, I'm sure, but I'm sure Millie Bobby Brown wouldn't want to constantly be in every single film. So that's why I've went for her as Kitty Pryde. I think she'd do very well in the role. Like, she's obviously been doing a couple of films recently where she's been getting her action star chops in. I think it's Damsel, I think it's called. And what else? And obviously Enola Holmes season 1 and 2. She's shown she can do everything. She's funny. She's got lots and lots of character. She'd be fantastic as Kitty Pryde. She really would be. I know there is one on this list I'm going to leave the last, because it's one that I don't think anybody will agree with, but I don't really care. The next one is, I'm going to, as I said in the last episode, I am going to break the rule at some point of no Fox characters or actors return for the MCU X-Men. This is where I break my own rule. Quicksilver, obviously, you know where I'm going with this. He can only be played by one man, in my opinion, and here he is on the screen now. Evan Peters is Quicksilver. We've seen Aaron Taylor Johnson's take on it. Obviously, the MCU were very limited originally by what they could do because of the Fox deal. They couldn't call them by the proper names, couldn't say the name Scarlet Witch for his sister. Obviously, they've got completely different nationalities. They're not the children of Magneto. It's a big shift, but Evan Peters showed in the Fox X-Men films, as trash as some of those films were, some of them were unbelievable, but some of them were garbage. His scenes, the slow motion scenes, they were always a highlight of the whole film. Like, absolutely no doubt in my mind, he made the film sometimes with very limited screen time as well, it must be said. He's obviously a fantastic actor anyway. Like, he's a staple of the American Horror Stories. Like, he's won, I think he won an Emmy for the Jeffrey Dahmer story, but I could be wrong on that. But he's unbelievable. Even when he showed up in WandaVision and he had Quicksilver's powers, like, I know everybody sort of knew it was like a trick, it was a spell or something, but everybody was so desperate that it wasn't. They just wanted Evan Peters as Quicksilver in the MCU, and I think like something like that could lean into it if the new MCU's X-Men come over from a different universe and they don't have a Quicksilver. I think we could work with the WandaVision Ralph Boner thing. I think Ralph Boner could be the missing witness that Jimmy Woo was looking for. I think that he could maybe be a mutant. He could be a variant of Quicksilver. Like, it could be anything. So I honestly think it has to be Evan Peters. I actually don't think I'll accept anything but. I really don't. Next one I have here is Angel. obviously in the Fox films, like Angel and X-Men 3, like very, very forgettable. The whole movie The Last Stand is easily forgettable. Ben Hardy is Angel in Apocalypse. He was actually good. Like I've watched him in a British soap over here called EastEnders before, so I didn't expect him to actually do well, but he was very, very good. But I think this version of Angel for the MCU, he should be like one of the earlier iterations of Angel from the comic books, where he's like a founding member of the X-Men. I don't think you'll get that level of screen time for him that a founding member would get, but I think he should still be a big character. I have gone for a very big actor who's already been nominated for an Oscar, I think last year, it was. I have gone for Austin Butler. Austin Butler is an absolutely terrific actor. He will literally, as you've seen with Elvis, he will put everything into making sure he has that role absolutely nailed down. Even in Dune Part 2, he was absolutely fantastic as the villain. Like, he literally, if you give him homework to do and you tell him what you want, you're going to get it. To the point where he will literally morph his own voice to suit that character and then suffer the effects for years afterwards. Like, he's a fantastic actor, but as I've said, and it was the same with Rami Malek in the last episode with me saying Nightcrawler, you do have to give him a bigger role than the likes of the Fox movies gave them characters, because you can't get an Austin Butler, Rami Malek, like Oscar winner, Oscar nominee, you can't get them in unless they've got a big role, unless they don't want it to be tied down to a big multi-picture contract similar to Millie Bobby Brown. So it is possible you could get Austin Butler and you'd be happy to be a big part of one film and then step away for a bit and then come back. If that's the case, sign him up right away, in my opinion, because that would be best for the MCU. Next one I've got is Mystique. Mystique was actually one I struggled with like for a long time to actually like work out someone to do, because obviously in the likes of X-Men 97, Mystique is the mother of Nightcrawler and I think Rogue. I could be wrong on that. I definitely think that is the case, but so she is, like, I know mutants don't really age, but she is a little bit older, but not, she's still young, and she can obviously transform into anybody. I have gone for an actress who was fantastic in the TV show that she was in up to last year. Like, I don't think she won an Emmy for it, but it's a miracle she didn't. I've gone for Rhea Seehorn. She obviously, I forget her name in Better Call Saul, but she is absolutely fantastic. She really is. She complements Bob Odenkirk so well in that show, and as I said, she definitely should have won an Emmy herself. She's a terrific actress. She really is. She can bring everything to the table. Mystique is a very, very layered character. Like, people just think, mostly because of the Fox movies, it's like, oh, Mystique's just that blue transforming lady. No. Mystique is such a complicated character. Jennifer Lawrence even did a goodish job of portraying her in the First Class and onwards. But someone like Rhea Seehorn could do so much with that character if you flesh it out. But the thing is, like, as with a lot of these characters on my list, the MCU is only going to have so much screen time for a lot of these guys, and I just really hope that some actors and characters don't just get shoehorned in there just because you need them in there. But that's who I've gone for as Mystique. Oh well, we've got two left. I've got Apocalypse for my next one. For Apocalypse, like, we don't even want to talk about the Fox version of the Apocalypse film. We really don't. But, like, Oscar Isaac was just an absolute terrible choice for Apocalypse. That just is the way it is. At the end of the day, nobody wanted that. I don't even think he wanted that. But thankfully he got his comeback story with Moon Knight. I have gone for Christopher Judge. A lot of people who are watching this won't even know who Christopher Judge is, and that's fair enough. But Christopher Judge, he's the voice of Kratos, obviously, in the God of War games. He's fantastic at that. You'll see him basically doing the whole circuit at any game and award shows, telling funny jokes. He is a monster of a man. And just if you look at the two pictures on screen here, like, he could easily betray Apocalypse. Easily. Like, it wouldn't even be difficult for him. He would get fully into the character, fully into the role. He'd obviously get the makeup on, and he would be like the comic book Apocalypse that we deserved. Really would. I don't think anybody else could do it personally, Apocalypse. I think if they're going to do the Apocalypse story again, which is honestly quite risky after what Fox did to it, I think Christopher Judge is one of the few people who could actually pull it off. And last but certainly not least, we are going for Beast. The thing is with Beast, obviously they've just recently reintroduced Kelsey Grammer as Beast, and look, do not get me wrong, if Kelsey Grammer, obviously with the new motion capture technology, doesn't have to be in makeup, if he can guarantee he could be the MCU's Beast for 10-15 years, amazing. Keep him around, keep letting him lend his voice and use a body double. Do whatever you need to do to keep Kelsey Grammer around. But Kelsey Grammer is also 69 years old, and he's also going to be very busy with multiple seasons of his revival of Frasier. So if we can't keep Kelsey Grammer and he is just a variant of Beast from like the MCU universe running parallel to the MCU, I would say personally I would have someone like Brendan Fraser as Beast. As I said earlier, that was my final one, was one I don't think people agree with. I don't think people will agree with the Brendan Fraser shout out, but this is the Renaissance after all. Brendan Fraser is well and truly back as an A-list actor, and I think just his personality, you've seen it in interviews and all, and Comic-Cons and all that, his personality would adore being someone like Beast. Obviously, see now with the whole technology, we've obviously seen it in the post-credit scene in the Marvels, like you don't even have to get the makeup on. He just needs to lend his voice. I think and Brendan Fraser could definitely play a smart thinking, sometimes very, very intense character when he goes into rage mode. I definitely think Brendan Fraser could do that part 110%. I know even if people disagree with me, I don't think anyone's going to change my mind on that. I think, and to be fair, I am biased. I've loved Brendan Fraser as an actor since I was a kid watching the Mummy films. I just think he's incredible, and he could definitely do that role. Well, that is it, guys. That's part 2 all done. That is another 10 X-Men characters down. We're still missing major characters like Storm, the likes of Mr. Sinister, but I did say in the first episode I need to keep a few heavy hitters per episode to get you guys coming back for more. So we'll be back with part 3 hopefully in about 2.5-3 weeks, I would assume anyway, just whenever I get a chance. But thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. As I said before, if there's any picks you agree with, don't agree with, pop them down in the comments and let me know who you guys would pick. That's the most interesting thing about these videos. I'd love to know what other ideas there is out there, because like there is no bad ideas sometimes when it comes to like fan casting. Like everybody knows who they can sort of picture in the role. Even since part 1 came out, there's a few characters I had in part 1 where I thought of another actor and I was just like, oh, I wish I could have said that. I might even do like a part 3.5 video where I just go through some of the ones from the series and say actually they could do that role instead, but we'll just see how it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff you guys like to do, and I shall see you on the next one.